A quick note before we get into the episode. Oversharing is a podcast for entertainment purposes only. It is not a medical podcast and does not constitute medical or psychological advice. Always seek the advice of your physician or mental health professional. All right, let's do some intentions. Hi, Dr. Naomi and Joan. I'm a huge fan of the pod and find so much calm in each of your episodes. I'm writing in looking for an intention on being present in my relationship. My boyfriend of about a year just began his residency to become a surgeon. We're also doing long distance, about a 2-hour drive apart. Every time we're together, I feel this pressure that I have to be on and in a good mood and fun, and that the time spent needs to be perfect since our time together is now more limited. I find myself now spiraling and so in my head when I'm with him that I'm not actually present and enjoying the moment because I'm so worried about the moment being perfect. And that if I'm not on or things aren't perfect, I've wasted the time together. Can you help me set an intention for being present and enjoying the time we have together? Thanks for all you do.
All right. Long distance relationships, that's a good topic.
Yeah.
Those are tough because of a lot of what she's describing, which is like
a lot of pressure on the in-person meetup.
Yes.
Have you had a long distance relationship?
Yeah. This email actually brought me back because I felt that when I was 22,
right.
Probably. Yeah, I had a long distance relationship. I was in LA and the guy I was dating lived actually in Texas, ironically, in South Texas.
Is that why you went out there?
No, it was so long after. I remember when I first moved back, I was like, oh, right, I lived here before. Right. I ended up, speaking of long distance, I ended up moving there
right
after the year to be closer. But there's so much pressure because the relationship itself is hard. There takes a lot of communication.
Right.
There's lots to talk about that doesn't feel good. Like jealousy things or how much communication you need or just catching up on your life.
Right. And you're not living like in the real world together. When you see each other, you're like on vacation.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah. You're not like, you don't even really know each other. And that's kind of what she's getting at, which is like, I kind of want to be myself.
Right.
And just be however I am.
Right. And not be like perfect on girlfriend who's like, showing him what he's missing by like being long distance. Yeah.
Yes. So this is really tough because it's, you want to use that time to like address the issues in the relationship, but you also want to use that time to have fun and
right. And actually enjoy being in each other's presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what would happen a lot of times when I was in a long distance relationship, the in-person meetup. And this was me, because back then I was like not as emotionally regulated as I am now.
Well, at 22, that makes sense, yeah.
So I would want to like talk about everything and be like, this is so hard and I miss you and like all those things and just talk about whatever came up in the relationship of like, oh, well, I don't know your friends or stupid things that,
any of your issues, yeah.
Whatever the issues are. But like, so I remember like ruining a lot of visits because I like wanted to talk about all the things and then it was heavy and it was hard and it wasn't fun. And then coming home and being like, oh gosh, like now he's going to feel like, and I kind of feel like,
what's the point?
What's the point of this?
Right.
This is kind of not fun and doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
We're long distance. Then we like have these heavy conversations, potentially an argument. And then we go home and we do long distance again.
Do you think that that was like because of the long distance, or do you think that like it was the relationship and then like the long distance sort of just showed that quicker?
No, I think honestly, I think part of it was me at that age and not being emotionally regulated. Like I remember, this is an actually funny story, shows like, it's crazy that like this was flesh and blood. This was me in this moment, but like this doesn't feel like me as a person. I remember coming to visit my ex, now my ex, but like my boyfriend at the time. And he lived in Texas and we went to a bar and the song, I've Got Friends in Low Places. It's like a big country song that a lot of people know. And I'm from New York. I live in LA for, at the time. I never heard this song. And I show up to the bar and it's him and all his friends, guys and girls. And they all start like singing this song.
Okay.
And I'm just sitting there like, just feeling so excluded.
Like left out, yeah.
Left out. And I'm like, you have this whole life with all these people and you're all like singing this song. And I just felt like I have no place here. And I just like shut down and I got like pissed.
Right.
which was like, looking back on it, I'm like,
I've done that too, where it's like you don't really know how to express.
I didn't know how to say,
So you're
like,
just, like,
I
in a
feel
mood.
left out. So then I was just mad, and like I kind of ruined the whole rest of the weekend and got back, and I picked, I don't even remember what it was, but I probably picked a fight about some little thing that,
Right.
you know, maybe he like had his arm around someone, they were swinging, and I was like, well, that person, and
Right, fed into it.
stupid.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine doing that now, but I was just probably very like hypersensitive,
Little insecure.
insecure to the distance, picked a fight over something, ruined the weekend. And it's just, I think when you're in long distance, you're so sensitive. Like there's just,
Well, you
like,
need a lot of like affirmation
Yes.
because you have such limited in-person time. So
Yeah.
I think there's a sense of like, again, if it's not perfect when we see each other, then what's even the point?
yes. Yep. So I get it.
Right. So she wants to know how not to. Well, but she's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to do that. That
Yes.
sounds horrific.
Yes, it
So
does.
I'd
You're
like it to
right.
be like fakely all really pleasant, which is like sort of the other spectrum, which also doesn't seem like the correct way. Like yours is like, okay, like I'm going to be like very real.
Right.
And she's like, I don't want to be totally fake.
Yeah.
Just to feel like I'm not ruining the week or making the weekend the best it could possibly
Right.
be.
I guess it depends what your end game is, right? If you want this relationship long term, then like having those real conversations and being your real genuine self is going to give that relationship longevity, because otherwise he doesn't really know you when
Right.
you're cranky or when you feel like lying in bed all day or you're not in the best mood, and so then you end up together and he doesn't really know you, and so maybe he doesn't like that person, or you don't, you know, he's probably doing the same thing.
Yeah. And I think it's okay to like be in a mood or like have a thing. I think it's more about like the way you're communicating that, which either makes like ruins the whole weekend or makes it like something that makes you strong, like closer
Yes.
and stronger.
Yes.
So if you're like, if you had that experience at the bar and then you said to him like, hey, like I felt a little like sad or like excluded or like I didn't
Yes.
belong here when that happened, and it made me kind of sad. It's obviously nothing you did wrong, but like, and then you like worked that out, then maybe that would have brought you closer and made the
closer.
weekend even better.
Yes.
But if you're just like being kind of bitchy and then like starting a fight over something else,
Yep.
then yeah, like it does ruin the weekend. So I think it's about like being yourself, but being mindful about how you're like communicating like any issues in like a positive, not like I'm like
Gonna pick a fight.
yeah, I'm gonna be in a mood, or
Right.
like I'm gonna decide that this is like a state of being instead of
Yes.
like a situational irritation.
Yeah, I think you're right. And you could find that moment where you're like, this is my moment to be vulnerable and connect, versus maybe the fear of like, if I'm vulnerable, it's, you know, and she needs to find that out. Like if she's vulnerable and she's leaning in and it's not always like positive, chipper, how does he handle that? Like
Right.
you need to know that also. That's why I say it's a matter of if this is just like, this is fun for now, which most people don't do long distance because it's fun for now. Like it's
Right.
kind of crazy.
Doesn't seem that fun for now.
Right. If you do want longevity, A, he has to know you. B, you have to know how he,
Reacts to you being
yes,
in a mood. Yeah.
how you have conversations. I mean, that is one of the benefits of long distance, is that you do get to do a lot of talking through and a lot of like working through and communication from afar. But it sounds like this couple needs to learn how to do it like in person.
Right.
Also, without that fear of like, it's going to ruin the weekend or it's not going to be all fun and games. So the intention that I wrote for her on this is, connection is deepened through vulnerability, not positivity. So like, you can't just be Pollyanna. You have to be vulnerable, and that will deepen your connection and it'll make it last longer, you know, give the relationship more legs. Also, the distance will be worth it if we're working towards a genuine connection, not a curated one.
Love
so
that.
Like, you can't, you know, curate how this relationship is going to be, because that's not how real life goes. But I feel like these weekends are probably very curated, and you need a genuine connection if you're going to have legs in this.
Totally agree. I think those are great intentions. Good luck.
Good
Let
luck.
us know how this goes.
Yeah, please do.
Let's do some triggers. You want to read our first
I
one?
will read the first one. Here we go. I like this one. Hi, Jay and Dr. Naomi. I have a triggered scenario for you. My partner has 2 daughters, 11 and 6, every other weekend. I do not want kids of my own, and while I'm pleasant with his kids, I'm pretty hands off. Through work, I got some free Minecraft swag and grabbed some to give the kids as I know they're fans. When I gave it to them, they were super excited, but did not say thank you. I texted my partner. They didn't say thanks, LOL. And he didn't
like how the LOL at the end of it is like what's funny about that?
Just throw that in anytime
you're saying something like that is not funny at all.
Totally. He didn't acknowledge the text or say anything in the moment. I eventually went to go to do my own thing. When it was just the two of us, I asked if he saw my text, and he brushed it off a little, saying they were too excited, and he did ask if they said thanks to me, and they realized they didn't. When I saw the older daughter, she did say thank you. The next day, it was hot as fuck in our city. I decided to buy ice cream sandwiches as a treat for us all. He gives it to them after dinner, and I said in passing if they knew where it came from. And he made a face. I'll try to drop it until the next day after they were picked up, and my partner and I are about to split one, and the box is nearly empty. I say calmly, that bothered me a little that the girls didn't say thanks, and he rolls his eyes. It made me furious, quietly eating my ice cream sandwich. I put the other half down on the table and said I didn't appreciate the eye roll. He grumpily tells me to eat the rest. We just left it to melt a little on the table. She's painting such a sad picture.
I know. This is like, I feel tension through the email.
Yes. He ended up sleeping on the couch that night, and we haven't spoken for a few days now. So how triggered can I be for 1, not being thanked for the Minecraft goodies, 2, not being thanked for the ice cream sandwiches, and bonus, petty or prudent, I took the final 2.5 sandwiches home with me. Ice cream for thanks.
Okay. It's a lot to unpack here.
1, she did say thank you. It was the next day for the Minecraft goodies. So the older one said thank you. It was a day late. I think for an 11-year-old,
fine.
Yeah. Day late. She said it.
Sure.
It was probably awkward for her to come back the next day and be like, oh, by the way, thanks for the Minecraft stuff. And she did it. So good for her.
Yes.
That one I think is solved.
I would agree. And it was some free shit you got at work.
Right.
It's not like you've been saving up to buy them these things and you thought of them and then
you snagged it. Right.
Right.
Yes.
Again, like I think a thank you is nice no matter what. I'm usually like pretty like slutty with the thank yous, just like giving them, even if I'm not like, oh, you work so hard. Fine.
Yes.
But I think it's she could have dropped that one.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So comes to the ice cream sandwiches and she says, do you know where these came from?
Yeah.
That's annoying.
I agree. It's very condescending, I think. Here's the thing. I think when you're dealing with kids, like and she doesn't have kids of her own. She said she doesn't want them. And like, maybe she doesn't have much experience with other people's kids, but like, and I don't either, but I have like I feel like being around kids is like a little bit of a thankless job.
Yes.
And she's like in a parental role. She's like the dad's girlfriend.
Yes.
Like, it's just not the kind of thing if you want to like, it's not about her. You're not in a relationship where no one's saying thank you.
Right.
Like these are children. They're not like trying to even the playing field of like being appreciative to the level that you think you're giving. And again, it was like some box of ice cream sandwiches. I thought it wasn't even like ice creams that she bought on the street.
Right.
I don't think I would say thank you as a kid if like there was a box of ice cream sandwiches and we were all eating them.
And your dad went into the freezer and took them out.
I can understand why the dad's like a little annoyed, like you're being kind of condescending.
Yeah, like you're just making this a thing when you're not putting that much effort in. And I guess to her, these little efforts feel like a lot because I think that's, so we could get to the root of it, right? I think the root of it is she's not really loving this role, but she's kind of like pushing herself to try and wants it to be noticed, maybe by him and by the kids. And look, I'm big on thank yous. Like I'm always that mom that's like, did you say thank you? Did you say thank you? So I get it. You want to teach your kids manners. But these 2 examples, the first one where the daughter comes back a day later and says thank you. And the second one where it's like a box of ice cream from the freezer where like that's their house. They live there. Somebody went into the freezer and took out a treat and gave it to them. Like
you're making them feel weird about like just living.
Right. Like, do you know where this came from? They don't know where anything came from. They don't know where any of the food in the house ever comes from. They're not going to the grocery store. They're not paying for it. They're not thinking about that. But I think the underlying thing is she's probably, and again, I feel bad because I feel like we kind of invalidated the other listener and this one.
Invalidation day. Yeah.
I do feel bad because I think the bigger picture for her is like she's dipping a little tiny toe in the water of leaning into this stepmom role and is not feeling appreciated.
Well, I think she's learning a lot about maybe
parenting.
like she thinks that's what parenting is like you do every time you do something nice for a kid that they're going to be like, again, like maybe as an adult would, to be like, oh, that's so sweet, thanks.
That was
thanks
and you know what, maybe the boyfriend should have said, oh, that was so sweet, thank you so much. Maybe she's looking for it more from him,
I guess, but it seems like she's looking for it from the kids, which to me is the part where I'm like, I don't think you realize you're not like conversing with adults that are like care about making you feel seen.
Right. Yes. They don't, I mean, you want your kids to be polite, but in both of these, I could see, like you said, if they went out for ice cream and she went to the register and she paid for the ice cream and like handed it to them.
Right. And they didn't say thank you.
And they didn't say thank you. Then I would be like, oh, did you say thank you?
As the parent, I would be like, oh, that's so like,
that was so nice.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right. I would say thank you.
Right. Yes. But these two instances, I think, are perfect examples of occasions where, and they were so excited about the Minecraft stuff, like almost like should be your thank you, but like it's like a little insight into it wasn't really necessarily just for seeing the kids so excited about the Minecraft stuff. I think this is between her and the boyfriend.
Yeah.
I think she wants the boyfriend to acknowledge it by saying something along the lines of, oh, so-and-so got these. Isn't that so nice? Which is why she's like, do you know where these came from?
Right. Well, she did. And then the daughter said, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's not dying for this.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to be with someone that interacted with my kids like that.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Did you know where this came from? That I would find that
off-putting. Right.
When it's a box of ice cream sandwiches in the freezer.
And you'd want someone who would be like,
you came home with a pony. Like, do you know where this came from?
Yeah.
Like, just showed up here, you know?
Right. Or if they had been saying, like, if they had been being rude to her or something, like, after she brought them back, or if they had been like dismissive, or if they're like ignoring her while eating her ice cream sandwiches. Like, it sounds like they were all just enjoying the thing. And I think to like set it up, like, this is my expectation for like anything I do must be like fully like acknowledged
like
and appreciated. I think she's setting herself up to be like an evil stepmom.
Yeah. And the truth is, that 11-year-old, she's lucky she's not like giving her the stink eye and like, you know, being like, no, I'm not eating that.
Right.
You know, like she's 11. She's prepubescent. This is not her mom. It's like a new person that her father's dating. Like, I would count your blessings that these kids are excited and they're including you. And and again, if you buy them a birthday gift and they don't say thank you, if you hand them an ice cream cone directly and they don't say thank you, but when a kid's pulling something out of their own freezer, it's theirs.
They're not thinking about where it came from. I agree. And I do think it's petty that you took the final two sandwiches.
Well, the other thing I realized is she
logistically weird too.
She says, my partner and I are about to split one and the box is nearly empty. It's like there's two sandwiches left.
2.5 sandwiches.
Yeah, 2.5. I wouldn't call that nearly empty. To me, nearly empty, maybe because we come from a house with 8 kids. Right. Nearly empty is like a half a sandwich
I agree.
left in the box. 2.5 sandwiches, like, okay. There's one for each of you. So yeah, she's being a little.
Right. And she's giving, again, I think to zoom out, she's giving to get something back. Yeah. She's not giving because she wants to see the kids happy.
Yeah. So I want her to get, like, I don't want our listeners ever to feel like they write in and then they got like crapped on. Mm-hmm. So I want her to get something out of this, which is that I think she needs to maybe reevaluate how she feels about this role and what her expectations are as a potential step something, and maybe have a conversation with your boyfriend. I think it's probably more about that, or feeling like if you don't want to do these things, then don't do them, but to do them and expect that. Or potentially there's a fear of, I don't think this is it because I don't think she wants kids, but like how he's raising them, that he's not raising them to be grateful, and that
then she has to live with them even if she's not
right,
like doesn't want her own kids.
Right. So if that's your fear, then address that. But these two examples are like a miss.
Yeah. I would say her saying, "Do you know where these came from?" is kind of like a 6 trigger to me if it was like my mom's boyfriend or my dad's girlfriend.
Yeah, although
saying
she's
that.
the one writing in.
I know. Well, I'm not addressing her. I'm triggered by her saying that. I don't think that like anything that happened here is that triggering.
Like a 1.
Yeah. Sorry.
We
Invalidated stamp.
We do not give 1s.
Yeah.
But I think we're both giving this a 1.
All right, let's do another one. I'll read it.
All right.
Hey, Jordana and Dr. Naomi, I'm a huge fan of the podcast, been listening since day 1. I'm writing in with a triggered scenario. My nephew turned 4 this weekend, and my sister-in-law posted a reel on Instagram of photos and videos of him over the last year. It was very cute, and I love that she does this. The thing that was triggering for me was that she included a video clip with my ex in it. The video was from a weekend family getaway at a cabin for my dad's birthday in April. We broke up about 6 weeks later in May, and now it's about 2 months post-breakup. I get why she wanted to include it. It's a cute video of all the boys sitting around the campfire, my nephew, my brother-in-law, my brother, and my dad. At the same time, I also know that she takes so many pictures and videos of the kids, and I'm sure she had plenty to choose from. For context about the relationship, we were together a little over a year, and I was the one who ended it. I imagine my sister-in-law thought it wasn't a big deal to include the clip because I've been doing generally okay, but it still felt shitty to see him in the reel. Even though I ended the relationship, I'm still sad and disappointed it didn't work out. I love looking at photos of my nephew, and it just sucks that I either need to avoid this video or watch it and then be reminded of when my ex and I were together and he was part of my family. To top it off, I wasn't in any of the videos or pictures in the reel. I wouldn't normally care about that, but it does add to the sting in this case. I don't think I'm going to say anything to her because I'm sure that there was no bad intent, but I definitely feel triggered by it. What do you think? How triggered can I be? Thanks for all your advice and wisdom. Love, and Auntie Betch.
All right. What do you think?
I think I would also let this go if I were her. I think I could see why the sister-in-law is kind of like, you broke up with him. You seemed like you're fine. This is a cute bit. Like, this is like a pretty cute video. I kind of want to put it in. It's like probably not more than like a couple seconds. And like the listener does write, like, I feel like I can't keep, like, how many times do you need to watch it?
Right.
Like it's not like his like wedding video. It's
and
like
even then,
how many times you watch it? Right. It's like his mom's 4-year-old. Like, I would never watch that more than once.
No, you watch it once and it goes into the abyss of the internet.
Yeah. I think it's not like, again, she's posting a picture of your wedding day with this guy.
Where there was a picture framed in their house.
Yeah.
That was like on the wall with your ex in it. Okay.
Would you do this? Like, would you, like, if we have a lot of siblings, if there was like a video you really wanted
really
to use.
Cute with someone's ex.
There was like in the corner. I think I would do it.
I probably wouldn't do it. I guess it depends. She doesn't sound like if they were dating someone else, I'd probably do it.
Right.
If they're still single, maybe I wouldn't.
Even if they broke up with them?
Yeah, probably.
Right.
I mean, I could think of a situation
right
in our family that like I probably wouldn't post someone's ex, even if they broke up with them.
Yeah, I guess. And I guess
I'm
it's
not
kind of
saying
annoying.
it's triggering. I don't think it's the biggest deal. I get kind of the thing of like, this person's in it, but I'm not. That's like a little annoying. Yeah. Like this random guy that nobody's going to talk to ever again.
Right. But it's not like he's like making a speech. He seems like he's just like one of the several. It's not like
yes.
If it was a picture of like the ex and the 4-year-old
like
nephew together,
I'd
be like, this seems really unnecessary.
Yes.
This person's never going to see him again.
Get it? It sounds like even the sitting around the campfire, like that does sound really cute.
I bet she like thought about it and then she was like, oh, I'm just going to do it. Like,
yes. And it's sitting around a campfire. Maybe
it
I would.
Sounds cute.
It does sound cute. I don't think it's incredibly triggering. I don't think it's a 0. If he broke up with her, then
much higher.
Much higher.
Yes.
But
if it was a picture of the two of them in there, much higher.
It sounds like he's kind of like in the background. But I could see being taken off guard a little bit.
Right. But again, you don't need to watch this more than once.
No.
It's not like your friends are going to see this all, you know what I mean? It's not going to be like publicly embarrassing.
Right. I think what's happening here, and this is an interesting thing for people to be aware of in these triggering situations, is there's like a moment, we can all feel what that feels like, that moment of triggering where you're either like, you get sweaty or like you get hot or you get like that rush of something didn't feel good there. Mm-hmm. And then your brain goes to this place of like, whose fault is it?
Right.
When I think you just got triggered because you saw your ex and you weren't expecting to, which is really hard. Anytime you see an ex partner and you're not expecting to, it's like that triggering feeling. If you saw an ex from like, 15 years ago, you'd probably be triggered, just like getting caught off
jarred,
guard, a little
sure,
jarred.
yeah.
And then I think we naturally have that tendency to be like, that's because of you.
Right.
You did that. I think you just got triggered.
Yeah. I agree with her decision to not say anything.
Yeah. You never have to watch it again. But
It's going to get buried.
In that moment when she's saying like, every time I watch this, that's just her justifying.
I think she keeps watching it also like several times because he's in it.
Yes. She would never have watched it again beyond the initial post if.
Yeah. If any, I mean, you guys post like birthday carousels or whatever. Like I see them. If I see them, even if I like forget to watch them in that moment, I'll never see it again.
Right.
You see it, you like it, maybe you comment on it, and then you keep scrolling.
Yeah. So my point is, she's sticking on this every time. I love him and I want to be able to watch it. That's a narrative that she's making up in her head to justify that she had an automatic reaction of my body got triggered. It's her fault. And now there's a narrative to justify all of that.
Right.
When it really was, you got triggered. That's okay. Breathe. It's okay. Maybe you're still like grieving, like she said, bits of the relationship, or, that's okay too. Even if you ended it, I agree. Sometimes ending something is hard. It's not easy to make that decision, but it's not her fault. And you don't have to watch the video again. This is just like a little wave in your grief process of ending this relationship, and it'll come and it'll go.
I agree. I give it a 3.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give it a 3 also.
All right. We did it.
Yeah. So please don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to write in. We will.
Yeah. I mean, no, here's the thing. You're going to get because we don't have to look at you in the eye. We can be very honest. We're going to tell you if you're the problem, which, sometimes you are. Sometimes you need to hear it.
Like you said, even the therapist sometimes has to play it a little bit slow and steady because you are in person.
Right. And have to see their reaction. And again, thank you for writing in.
Thank you for writing. I really do appreciate people. We get so many amazing submissions on different topics, and I don't think we thank the people that write in enough because it is nice. They're probably talking into a void, and we don't get to read that many. So I appreciate that you write in and give us lots of good food for thought.
As do I, and they're always very thoughtful emails. So thanks, guys. Check us out on YouTube. We're in person today.
Yeah.
And rate, review, and subscribe. Comment on Spotify. Comment on the YouTube. We will read it all. And that's it for us.
All right. That's our time.
Great work today.